Welcome back to Math 109 Plain Trigonometry. In this video we're going to take a look at just some more methods for verifying trigonometric identities. A few more tricks. So in this one, the identity I'm going to give you is the secant of alpha plus the tangent of alpha over the secant of alpha minus the tangent of alpha is equal to 1 plus 2 sine alpha plus sine squared alpha over cosine squared alpha. So I'm going to start by working with the left-hand side. The first thing I'm going to do is change everything there to being in terms of sine and cosine. So I get 1 over cosine alpha plus sine alpha over cosine alpha over 1 over cosine alpha minus sine alpha over cosine alpha. We want that to be equal to 1 plus 2 sine alpha plus sine squared alpha over cosine squared alpha. So, on the left-hand side now, I can multiply both the numerator and the denominator by cosine of alpha, leaving me with 1 plus sine alpha over 1 minus sine alpha is equal to 1 plus 2 sine alpha plus sine squared alpha over cosine squared alpha. Well, now I have absolutely no idea what to do with that left-hand side. Actually, I do, but I want to go ahead and transform the right-hand side to make my life a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to factor the numerator on the right-hand side. Turns out that it's a perfect square. So at this point, I'm going to leave the left-hand side the same. One plus sine alpha over 1 minus sine alpha. Factoring the numerator, like I said, it turns out that it's a perfect square. 1 plus sine alpha squared over cosine alpha. And now I'm going to use a Pythagorean identity, cosine squared alpha, a Pythagorean identity to transform that cosine squared into a sine squared, or into a function dealing with sine. So I still have 1 plus sine alpha over 1 minus sine alpha. I'll leave the numerator the same for now. 1 plus sine alpha squared over 1 minus sine squared alpha. So now I can go ahead and factor the right-hand side. or I should say the denominator on the right-hand side. Whoops. That should not be 1 plus sine squared alpha. That should be 1 plus sine of alpha, all of that squared. And then 1 plus sine alpha, 1 minus sine alpha in the denominator. So I have two factors of 1 plus sine alpha in the numerator and 1 in the denominator, so I can cancel those out. And then what I'm left with is 1 plus sine alpha over 1 minus sine alpha is equal to 1 plus sine alpha over 1 minus sine alpha. And that checks out. So that does it for just working with basic identities. In the next section we cover, we're going to look at some sum and difference identities that we can work with.